The sound wasn't a cry, not at first. It was the hollow crack of bone against wood, sharp, final. Then the silence. Then the thin, strangled whimper that pulled the air out of my lungs. I turned before I wanted to. She was on the floor, one leg twisted wrong. My father-in-law stood over her, his breathing steady, the wooden cane in his hand still trembling from impact. "Now," he said, voice carrying the same casual cruelty you might use to insult a stranger's shoes, "they match your worthless life." My wife didn't rush to help. She didn't scream. She laughed, a slow, indulgent laugh. "Crawling looks better on her," she said. I remember my daughter's face. She didn't cry, not in front of them. She just looked at me, eyes wide, as if she knew I couldn't stop this moment. Not yet. And then she smiled. Through the pain, through the betrayal. That's when I knew. They wouldn't be laughing for long. It should have ended there, with police, with consequences. But it didn't. The hospital wrote it off as an accident. My wife called it clumsiness. Her father backed her story. Everyone else seemed willing to believe it. Everyone except me. There was something in their eyes, hers and his, that night when they left the hospital. Not panic, not guilt, something else, like two people bound by a secret. That's when I started noticing the small things. The way they spoke in half sentences when I entered a room. The way she locked her phone when she never used to. The way his car appeared in our driveway when I was supposed to be at work. The laughter. I kept hearing it in my head. The way they had laughed when my daughter was on the floor. As if it wasn't cruelty for cruelty's sake. As if it meant something. I told myself I was imagining it. But deep down, I knew I wasn't. I didn't confront them. I learned. I checked bank statements. There were transfers, small, deliberate, moving from our joint account into an account I didn't recognize. I checked her call logs. My father-in-law's number was there daily, hours at a time. It wasn't just the money. It wasn't just the calls. I started watching them when they didn't know I was there. The way she leaned in too close when they spoke. The way his hand lingered a second too long on her arm. At night, I would lie in bed, perfectly still, breathing slow so she thought I was asleep, listening to her thumb moving across her phone screen. Sometimes she'd chuckle softly, like someone was telling her a private joke. I had my suspicions. I needed proof. DNA testing wasn't about her. It was about my daughter. I swabbed her cheek one morning while pretending to wipe jam from her face. Sent it in with mine. Waited. During those days, I didn't touch my wife, didn't speak unless necessary. I moved through the house like a shadow, calm, detached. She thought I was sulking. No, I was sharpening. The envelope came on a Wednesday. No ceremony, just paper. She wasn't mine. My daughter. The only person in that house who still looked at me with anything like trust. She wasn't biologically mine. But the betrayal wasn't hers, it was theirs. I didn't scream, didn't smash anything. I sat at the kitchen table with the report in front of me and waited for them to return from one of their mid-afternoon errands. When they walked in, laughing at something I didn't want to know, I slid the paper across the table. "What's this?" she asked, already sounding defensive. "You tell me." Her eyes moved over the words. I watched the blood drain from her face. He stepped forward. "You had no right." I looked at him. Just once. Long enough for him to feel it. Long enough for him to stop talking. She tried to speak. I didn't let her. The next morning she woke to find the house stripped. Not the furniture, not the clothes. The accounts, the deeds, the insurance policies. Her car was gone. His business, funded quietly with my money, was suddenly facing an audit from a friend in the right place. I left them with the bare minimum, a single joint account with enough for a month's rent somewhere small. Somewhere they could sit together and think about their choices. I didn't block their numbers. I wanted the messages. The desperate ones, the angry ones, the ones where they tried to turn on each other. The day the foreclosure notice arrived for his property, I sent them a single text. "Crawling looks better on you." I kept my daughter, not because blood said so, because I did. She was mine in every way that mattered, and she knew. They didn't fight for custody. They couldn't afford to. They couldn't afford much of anything anymore. I watched them once, from across the street, as they carried boxes into a sagging apartment building. He moved slower now. She looked older. For a moment I wondered if they remembered that night, her legs broken, their laughter filling the air. Then I stopped caring. People think revenge is fire. It's not. It's ice. It doesn't burn. It freezes you solid until the thing that hurt you has no heat left to give. When I closed the door that night, I knew I'd never open it for them again. They taught me how to be cold. I taught them what it feels like.